Athena's parenting community. Hello, hello. Hi everyone. This is Sunana Bora, youth and parent coach from Athena Life Coaching. This Monday morning, how is everyone doing? Whoever's here, if you can just let me know that you can hear me loud and clear so I can keep talking. Otherwise, I will feel like I am talking to myself. So it has been an amazingly exciting. Hi Stephanie, hi Anjali, can you hear me? If you can just let me know that I'm loud and clear on Instagram, that's fine. I am also live on my Facebook page for those who are. So if you can just put in the comments below that you can hear me. So it's been an exciting week for me personally. It was my 25th wedding anniversary, and I had a different kind of celebration. Awesome, Stephanie. So nice to see you. I started 2021 with a little nudge. You know the backstory. So, yeah, so I had my 25th wedding anniversary last week. It was exciting. Some of the beautiful roses and Valentine's. So, it's been a week of love. And love doesn't always come from one quarter. If we open up to receive, on my wedding anniversary, I felt like, in the movies, they show a helicopter and they show how the helicopter showering you with rose petals. That's the feeling I had. That was the kind of shower of blessings I felt. And I actually, I say this with all humility and modesty, but I felt that I took two steps up in my own self development and self realization that truly it is not what is outside of you that makes you feel loved. It is the love within that you need to expand that makes you feel loved. So, the outside is a reflection of the inside. So, I woke up that day and I had told myself there were some circumstances which were not comfortable that I do not want to get onto a live. And so, anyway, the circumstances were not conducive for a celebration. But I got up that morning and I said, there are only two ways I'm going to live this day. A day that's going to go down in my memory and my husband's memory as our 25th wedding anniversary. So, what am I going to do about it? Am I going to sit and moan and groan and say, oh, this is how it panned out? Oh, this is such a difficult situation. We won't be able to celebrate, blah, blah, blah. Or am I going to take charge of that day and say, I am going to celebrate no matter what? So I can share what I did. I actually performed, I love to dance. So I dedicated a song to my husband and I danced for him. Uh, that post, my dream is to send it to Ellen and get it to go viral. So hold your horses. I'm still editing it. It's not the best video ever, but never mind. So that day taught me that celebration, joy, happiness is truly a decision one makes in one's life. And it's up to us when we want to make that decision, and it's up to us when we want to celebrate. So, celebration is not dependent on the outside, it is dependent on the inside, is what I learned on my 25th wedding anniversary. So, moving on. The topic for today, do you worry about your children? Are you worried? I don't think that's my exact wordings, but whatever my wordings were around, because I get a lot of parents who somehow think that they're doing their children and their families a great service. And please don't misunderstand what I'm trying to say, but it's like, sorry, I'm just looking at the title of exactly what I've written, so I'm not misquoting my own self. Um, yeah, so do you constantly worry about your kids and what they're doing or not doing? So that's basically what the topic is. So, oh, really, Anjali? That's fantastic. So you see, that's what happens. When you seek something truly, it comes to you and you don't know from where. It doesn't have to necessarily come from me, it can come from anywhere. So that's awesome. Yeah, so sorry, I'm just getting used to all this two cameras with. So I just think the height is not conducive. I hope my computer doesn't press anything. Okay, so that's, but I don't like looking down. So yeah. So yeah, so the reason I brought up this topic is because when I talk to parents, and please, when I'm saying, I'm being very honest, and don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But the first thing parents say, I'm so worried about my child. He or she's not doing their homework. I'm so worried about my child. They're not eating their food. I'm so worried about my child because they're not able to make friends in school. So that is what parents come to me with, this worried thing, as if by worrying they're doing their duty. So it's like, I'm doing the best, and my best is I'm worrying about my child, is what parents tend to say. And there's an emotion that tops worrying, and that is guilt. And I always say, I think it's important to mention that here, because I think worry also is related to guilt, because we are guilty that I should have, there's like, I remember my son was very small, and I sent him to school in the normal uniform, and it was that book club day when the kids had to dress up and all of that. So, oh my God, did I feel guilty that, oh, I sent my child dressed in a normal school uniform and everyone else was dressed up. And I felt so crappy about what I had done. So the point is, am I going to sit in that thought and say, oh, I'm so guilty, I'm a terrible mom? Or am I going to say that, okay, I learned from this. Maybe I need to note it down in my calendar. Maybe I need to pre-plan things. Maybe I don't need to leave it so last moment. So I find that guilt is an excuse for inertia. I'm going to say that again. Guilt is an excuse for inertia when we do not want to take action. That we find, so this is very subconscious, not like I'm planning this in my head, but we find that I'm doing my job as a mother or as a father, as a parent. Oh, I'm so guilty, I'm so guilty, I'm such a bad mom, I'm such a bad dad, I'm so bad, I'm so bad, I'm so bad, that I sit in that guilt, that swamp, that horrible, smelly swamp of guilt, wallowing in guilt, leading to self pity and not taking action. How, pray tell me, is that going to serve you or serve your family in any which way? So that is also related to worry. Is when we are worried, what are we doing? We're standing on that hamster wheel, worrying, 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 worrying. So let's just take an example. Let's say I have a situation in my house. Yeah, my son is not well. He has his mock exams. He's in the final year of his school life. Okay, it's not final year. It is the final year of his school life. His exams begin next Sunday. So Dubai, we have schools on Sunday, right? We do Sunday to Thursday. For those of you internationally watching this. So his exams start on Sunday. He has been unable to study for the last 1 week. We have approximately 5 days. This is serious studying. So either I sit here and go, oh my God, he's going to fail the exam. Oh my God, that's going to ruin his career. Oh my God, his university admissions, some of them are dependent on his grades. Oh my God, what am I going to do? So this is a real life situation that I'm sharing with you, okay? That I could truly worry and mop and feel really bad that my son is in this situation. Or I can sit down with myself and ask myself, how is, so this is a real life current my situation. This is the current situation I'm sharing with you. Sunday, the 20th of Feb, his mocks start, which have a very important bearing on his results, because A-level exams all over the world, according to my information, I could be wrong, have been cancelled. So the school is going to look at these mock exams, the internal exams, but they have a huge bearing on his results. He has not been well and he has not been able to study. He's going to get there, but not on his 100%, maybe 50% of his output, what he would have managed to do from his 100%. So that's a big drop. So either now I sit in the space of, oh my God, his life is ruined. Oh my God, his career is ruined. Oh my God, his university admission is ruined. Oh my God, what's going to happen to him? So I was speaking to a friend yesterday and she said to me, she says, I can't believe how calm you are in this situation. I said, but I have to sit with myself and say, what about the situation can I control? What about the situation can I let go? And what about the situation can I improve upon? So, what about the situation can I control? What about the situation can I let go? And what about the situation can I improve? So, let's take this real life example I'm sharing with you right now, my current scenario. So, the first point, what did I say? What about the situation can I control? I can't control his illness. I can't control how much he's going to output. He's a 17-year-old boy. He's not a 10-year-old or 8-year-old boy whom I can say, now you need to study, now you need to do this. He's 17 years old. His body is telling him what to do, what not to do. I can't control that. Yeah? Can I control his results? I definitely can't control his results. What can I let go of? Any guesses? What can I let go of? That's the question for today. Can I possibly, understanding that these are the things that I cannot control, neither his health, neither how much he is going to output in studying, because he's a 17-year-old boy, I am taking age into consideration. I can't sit with him and make him study. I hope if your child is 8 and 10, you wouldn't be bothered. My child is 17 and in the last year of school and his final exams. And I can't control what the school and how they're going to mark him. Yes, I might send a letter to the school to say that, yes, exactly. I can send a letter maybe to the school. I mean, the school already knows he's not well. We had to inform them because he was absent from school for 1 week. And thankfully, this week is midterm break. So he's not missing any important lessons. Thank God for that. What can I let go of? Perfectly answered, Anjali and Stephanie, is my worry. It is not helping the energy of my home. It is not helping my son heal. It is not helping the school give him better marks. It is not helping his output. My worry is just going to, and yes, Stephanie, the need for him to always do well. I need to let go of that expectation that such is life. It is what it is. I have no choice. Yes, I can cry right now and say, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Or I can say, such is life. Yes, it's not the best circumstances. Yes, for my son, for his college admissions, and so on and so forth. But it is what it is. This is life. Nobody told us that life is going to go according to the way I want it. How I want, Sunaina wants her life, her child's life, her spouse's life, her friend's life to go. Nobody promised me this. So, as a parent, as an adult, what do I need to do? I need to accept the as is of the life that is in front of me. And now, coming to the third point is, what can I improve? I can improve the general atmosphere by the house after I do the first two steps. Yeah, what can I control or what I can't control? What can I let go of? And then the third point is, what can I do to improve this this anomaly of life or this part of life that is not going in the most ideal manner? But do I wish life to be any other way? Actually, my wishing is also not going to help, right? That I wished it was different. I wish he could have fallen sick after his mocks. I wish it was this way. I wished it was that way. So my wishing is actually not going to change reality. Again, a waste of time, a waste of my mind space. What can I do to improve the current situation where my son is not well? He has exams in a week's time. Very practical things. Let's leave the emotions for a bit later. Practical things. I can provide him with the meals that he enjoys the most. So he is getting healthy, nutritious meals, lots of liquids, lots of rest, and the space to heal. Because unless he heals, imagine, so he has studied the entire year, right? So maybe not revised as many other kids might do. My son is not the kind. He's a bit of a last moment preparator. But I can create this space. So I'm now making a list of the things I can improve with the purpose that at least he can give his best when he's giving his exams. So let's look at the goal. Of course, I want my child to do well in exams. Why not? I think that's a very realistic expectation. But how well, given the circumstances, is what needs to be real. I need to bear in mind that he has not been well, that his output has suffered. So, what can I do to improve the current situation in my home, in my life, so that my son can give his best performance? So, we've let go of worry, hopefully, because we've analyzed the situation and understood what we can control, what we can't. And the last thing is, I can improve one, his physical state by giving him proper nutrition, by providing him good meals, by providing him enough hydration, rest, and a space to heal. And heal his body, heal his mind. Do you not think that my 17-year-old son would also be worried? Okay, let's assume your child is not the kind of child who is serious about studies, because that's what a lot of parents come to me with. Yeah, so I am not only sharing my life circumstance, my current life circumstance with you, but I'm also telling you what parents come to me with. So yeah, so my son might not perform as well as I want him to perform, or he would have hoped. But don't you think, even if your child is slightly conscious about his academics, he would be worried? How would it help him if he was shouldering his own worry and then he had his mother and his father's worry to shoulder also? In this 1 week or 6 days, when he is slightly better and he can focus on his studies better than he was last week, will it help me to add on the burden of my worry onto my child's shoulder who is already bearing his own worry? Will that help him to focus on his studies? Will that help him to focus on his studies? Or will my being relaxed, my being calm, my being centered and say, sweetheart, we understand what's going on. We can see you're not well. You do the best that you can. And we will see what steps to take post that. Just heal yourself in your physical health, your mental health, emotional support. We are providing him by taking the pressure off him. When you take the pressure off him, when he no longer has your worry and you actually help him or her to let go of the baggage of his worry, then he can focus on what is in front of him with an emptier mind. Are you in agreement with what I'm saying? Please comment. Am I making sense? That what we are doing by our worries is we are adding to our child's worries. So, being a worry parent, you are only doing a disservice, A, to yourself, because you are worrying yourself to ill health and sickness. I know parents who suffer from ill health because it is rooted in their emotion of worry all the time. Mothers like you and me worry ourselves sick, thinking that by worrying, I'm wearing this mantle of being this queen mother who is being so good, because I give myself brownie points because I'm worried about my child. Yeah. So this is what I give myself brownie points. But what we need to realize is we are adding. So Why I'm talking also about this topic is because I recently coached, I think, yeah, she's 14, 14-year-old boy who sat in front of me and said, because the parents came to me because they were having some communication issues, and this bright boy was actually not doing well. So, Anjali, I read your message, but what you're describing here is very ambiguous and very broad. It needs to be specific. Like, I'm going through a tough time with a 9-year-old at the moment with behavior issues. Darling, it doesn't give me anything to work from. Yeah, so we need to be a little bit more specific when asking the question. That way I can answer it. So I want to come back to this 14-year-old boy who came to me. There were communication issues at home. The parents felt that he was no longer communicating with them. The parents felt that he was, sort of keeping stuff closed. And so the parents approached me and said, "Can you speak to our son?" So I spoke to their son, the 14-year-old son, and I was like, "Okay, what is going on?" And the 14-year-old son said that I can no longer communicate with my parents because, and he pointed out specifically to his mother, that my mother worries all the time. Whatever I say to her, so suppose he has a problem with his friends in school, that his mother worries all the time. He says what she does is she keeps coming back to me. She keeps coming back to me all the time to tell me that you need to, what's happening, what's going on now, what's going on now. So my mother keeps worrying all the time. Just give me 1 second. Sorry. Yeah, so this 14-year-old shared with me, my gardener's here, and my gardener tends to talk to me. I've just been like hiding up at the. He will talk to me even through the window, irrespective of live or no live. So yeah, so the 14-year-old boy shared with me that whatever he shared with his parents, especially his mother, that suppose he came back from school today and said, "Oh, I had a run in with my friends, or I had an argument, or the teacher told me off in class and it was not fair and I was upset." So the boy comes and tells his mother this, and then she sits and she mulls and she gets worried and she gets depressed all the time. And then she constantly asks him, "What's going on? Is everything okay? Have you gone back to your class? Are your friends talking to you? Is everything okay?" So he says she can't, point number two, let go of the incident I have shared with her. So he has something on his chest. He comes back from school and he just vomits it to his mother in the car on the way from school. By the time they reached home, the mother is a nervous wreck. And why is the mother a nervous wreck? Because she has taken that incident and stretched it to the last degree. Oh, he had a run in with his friends. My child has no friends. He's lonely. He's going to get depressed. When he gets depressed, he's going to fail in life. He doesn't have any friends. And oh my God, he's going to be depressive. He's going to be a depressive boy, and then he'll be suicidal, and that'll be the end. She's actually shared that with me, so I'm not making this up. Or if the child says, "The teacher told me off," oh my God, the teacher told me off. Should I go tomorrow to school and talk to the teacher? because he wasn't actually talking in class. He was just asking his friend for a pen, but the teacher misunderstood him. And if she does that, then she won't give him good marks in school. And then this will happen, and then he won't do well in school. And then he will suffer, and then he'll get bad grades, and then he'll fail, and then his life is ruined, and his academics is ruined, and his career is ruined. So the mother's again taken an incident and blown it straight out of proportion. And she has told me she has done this. This is what we do. We prophesize the worst from a small incident that our 10-year-old, 14-year-old, 18-year-old has come home with. So when your child is sharing something with you, maybe because you've picked them up from school, you're sitting in the car with them, you're the first point of contact, and he or she has just vomited their incident of school onto you, right? And what have you done? You have taken it and prophesized the worst possible scenario, and you sit there sullen and, oh my God, what's going to happen to my child? My child's life is ruined. What can I do? I can't do anything. Oh my God. And here you go on your hamster wheel completely. You are on your hamster wheel. How are you serving your child? Are you serving your child by you have disconnected from your child and you have now retreated into your own personal cave, your worry cave there of you are going into that depressive mode, you are going into that failure zone. So you have gone into that cave of depression. How are you helping your child? By being that worry parent. So what do children do? They are very intuitive. They understand, oh my God, I told my mother this. And then you know what this mother does? For the next 10 days, she will keep asking the child the same. Are your friends okay with you? Are they including you? Are you talking with them? Is your teacher okay with you? Show me your exam results, test results. Is it okay? Is everything okay? Is she talking? And the child has already forgotten about it. But you haven't, because you are still in your cave worrying about that one incident. The child has had 10 more little incidents of less relevance. So I'm not saying everything is not relevant, but we are also looking at scenarios where it isn't as relevant. I mean, I'm talking to you about my scenario where my child has his mock exams. He's 17 years old, his last probable exams, which is going to impact his academic and career. But I'm sitting here and analyzing the situation, saying, how can worry serve me? How is worry helpful to me, my son, my family? How? It is not helpful. So parents, get a grip on yourself. Get a grip on yourself. Get a grip on your emotions, because you have no idea whatsoever that you're worrying incessantly about your child or what is happening to their life is having a detrimental impact on your child's well-being. You are in no way contributing to raising a healthy child if you don't know how to manage your worry in a healthy manner. Yeah? So please, for heaven's sake, worry within reasonable measure. Talk to your spouse, talk to a friend and say, I'm worried about this. Keep offloading. But sometimes, and I've spoken to enough parents to know, not sometimes, I'm going to change that. Delete, delete, delete. Most of the times, we worry about things if it's related to health. I know a parent who worried about their child's health because she had been obese and she had obesity issues in her childhood. So she was projecting that worry. Oh my God, I hope my child doesn't become obese. Oh my God, I hope my child doesn't become. Oh my God, that's all she kept worrying about, projecting that worry of her childhood onto her child. I know a parent whose own parents didn't support their child, him in his childhood. So what do? They sit and copy paste that worry and project it. But I'm here, and they push their kids, saying, "But I'm here, I'm overcompensating for what I didn't get in my childhood." So we are mostly worrying about our children, projecting things onto our children that we have not got in our own childhood. And that is why I request, please heal your own wounds before you start parenting your children, because what you are doing, the lens you're wearing is cracked, and you are seeing your kids from the same cracked lens, and you are not helping your child in any which way. And that is why I, frankly, honestly, the 4-week parent coaching program that I have for parents is worth its weight in gold. I think it should be mandatory at some level when parents have kids, to realize that unless you go and heal yourself, wherein you understand why you're parenting the way you parent, why you worry, why you have all these fears, because they normally come from your own childhood. And once you're able to let go and clear your own baggage, remember what I told you? That your son is there. My son could be there worrying about his exams. And then I am worried that my son is not able to give his exams or do well in his exams, because in my past, when I wasn't well and I didn't give exams well, I went down the other route, and I never, fulfilled my ambition of what we can do. Stephanie, where can you find your course? You just, darling, just email me on sunanaathena@gmail.com, and I will send you the details. So it's Sunaina Athena, you know the spelling, SUNAINA @gmail.com. So it's just a 4-week parent coaching course, and I promise you, I'm willing to say it right now in my life that I will return every penny you pay me if it doesn't transform the way you parent your kids. I will refund, even after the 4 weeks, I will return your money. If you think, I'm not one of those who will say 1 week and you can, I will return your entire money if it doesn't transform the way you parent your children, because that is where we come from. Unless we heal that part of us, unless we're able to clean out this garbage of our own fears, because 95% of the times when parents bring their children, the children are so, they feel the pressure. Thank you, Stephanie, for putting that in the comments. Thank you, sweetheart. Because the parents feel the pressure, or sorry, the children feel the pressure of the parents. But what the children don't realize is the parents are projecting their fears on their children. That's what the children don't know. And neither do the parents. They're not conscious enough to know. And when I tell parents that if you changed, you could change the way you parent your 1 child, your 2 children, your 3 children, your 5 children. So if parents do this it's just 4 weeks. I meet you for 1.5 to 2 hours once a week on Zoom. Or if you want the recorded version, the price points are very, very different. On Zoom, I answer your questions. You have me for entire 4 weeks of my support. You can write in anytime and ask me any question that I did this module and the module didn't work for me in this scenario. I use these strategies and they didn't work. I tried to do this and I'm still struggling. I am there for 4 full weeks. Plus there's a bonus one session at the end of it to get an entire summary of the entire 4 weeks and how you can move forward. I promise you, this program is transformational. It will just change the way you parent your child. It will create so much of peace, love, and harmony. I guarantee it. You need to do the work. These 10 years, I've had a handful of parents who didn't do the work and didn't see the results. But 98% of the parents who've done the work I still get emails after 2 and 3 years saying, I thought of you this last week. I thought of you in the last couple of months. And I am like, I can no longer recognize the parent I've become because of how your program transformed the way I parent. So worry will go out of the window. You will be able to better manage your home environment, be a more relaxed. I have just shared my own circumstances with you. My child of 17 years has to give an exam on the 20th, has literally resurrected yesterday. So he is going to literally put in 5 or 6 days of work where he has lost approximately 10 days of studying time before that. So that's a lot. He is losing 50% of his output. Either I could have moaned and groaned and sat in worry and thought, oh yeah, worry is going to help my child improve his grades or improve his output. I could have done that. Or I could have done, what can I do to improve this situation? What's in my control that I can do to help and improve the situation? Is create that healthy atmosphere and tell him, take the pressure off. Forget my worry and my spouse's worry, but to work to such an extent that I become so empowered as a parent that I take his worry off his shoulders. That's when we become empowered parents. That's when we empower our children. When you are able to not only help them let go of your baggage, but help them let go of their own baggage. That is when you empower your child and tell him what parenting is about and how you can raise a healthy, all rounded, good human being on this planet who will then hopefully be successful in his life. So please, guys, please, I am really requesting you, if you have any issues in your life, contact me. Stephanie has beautifully typed in sunanaAthena@gmail.com, or just inbox me on Instagram here or on Facebook if you want details of the 4-week parent coaching program. I tell you, there is nothing better than investing in yourself and in your family, because when you invest in this, there are so many parents who've written to me and said that not only did I become a better parent, before that, I became a better person. And I had some males who said they became better people at work, that their relationship with their colleagues changed. So I hope that has helped you, and it has reduced. I don't know whether this talk would reduce your worry, but definitely the point is to make you see that worry is of no use. You are only adding to disharmony and unrest in your family by worrying. So please chuck worry out of the window. My gardener's on his phone talking loudly. So chuck the worry out. I can't, I have to focus here because I could be worrying about my gardener right now. I can't control that situation. I can't tell him to shush, but I'm hoping it's still okay. Okay, I love you guys. Please comment below what you found to be. And Stephanie, find your course. Please correct the spelling. It's not my course. So 4-week parent coaching program, please sign in. And Anjali, you can inbox me with a more specific question or email me. Love you guys. Have an awesome Feb 15th, and also happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Even if it's a day late, it is love day every day. Okay.